have all now been found to be not very successful because of situational changes that has happened, and new models of business are about or being developed now. A few have they're being developed, but nothing much has come out of it. So understand how the selection is done before we implement something. That is what this is, just a very general component, all right? This is a very, very general component, and we will be looking at the external, the macro environment. Is the broad environmental context in which the firm's industry is situated? Where is it? What is it? Includes strategically relevant components. What are the economic conditions? Where is the industry competitive in a competitive environment? How are they moving? What sort of business are they in? How effectively have they done their business? Okay. And does the industry offer attractive opportunities of growth? Previously, yes. Yes, it has. What is the situation now currently? Have you carried out an analysis? Most of the organizations, if you observe, are still existing, are still doing something, but their businesses are all getting stagnated. All right. Reports are stating that stagnation is taking place. Movement has become very slow. Inflationary tendencies have set in. And the next one is there is a sort of a yo-yo situation existing in the current environment, market environment, because you're not able to predict much, because you do not know when would be the next lockdown coming. You wouldn't know, because now you see that as we were getting the control of the Delta variant, a new variant called Omicron has already come. Now this is also creating a lot of problems. The next one is there is a sort of a yo-yo situation existing in the current environment, market environment, because you're not able to predict. Right, I heard my voice, nicely recorded. Thank you. Okay, right. So understand that it becomes quite difficult for you to predict the industry and the expected rate of growth. All right. The automobile industry was supposed to have grown and expanded, but growth has been stifled because of the current economic conditions, inavailability of parts, and progress is very, very limited. I am also given to understand, but I do not know how far this is true or what percentage is true. You may have to check out this fact that I understand that there are certain models of vehicles which are going off production already. And one such model that is going is the Honda Jazz. They are knocking off all those last little bit of cars that they have, and they are no more going to produce that car. I do not know for what reason. Now, the other reason that we see also before the COVID, they have discontinued, Honda has discontinued the Honda Civic hybrid. Why it discontinued? And now you're already talking about electric cars. You're talking about what is it? Fuel saving cars. You're already talking about a lot of changes that are taking place, and especially in the automobile industry where pollution, it is highly fossil fuels getting lesser. Petrol prices are slowly moving up. So the tendency to bring in new changes are already being experienced. So how is this? And look at during the time of COVID, how these new things are coming in, right? Look at this consideration, different sectors, regions. How are you going to grow? Which area? Okay? Which growth is not, which does not guarantee profitability? Which growth does not guarantee? Are you going to continue with it? So what do? Cut down on your production, cut down on a lot of elements. Are we going to waste our resources? So these are decisions which management has to consider, right? So look at your competitive forces. I will be doing this in detail in the next chapter on. We will be doing some analytical. So I'm not going to talk about this now and then repeat what I have done. I'll be moving over, right? Buyer demand is growing slowly but declining. Same situation that's happening now. Demand is there, but the thing is slowing down. It's slowing down because of the current economic situation that the people are in, right? And the flow of funds. The flow of funds is not very strong. The flow of funds is getting thinner. And the more thinner the flow of funds takes place economically, you will see that inflation starts coming in. One of the causes. No? So it becomes thinner. When it is becoming thinner, the buying power also becomes thinner. So in this sort of a situation, the government will have to step in and stimulate the economy by using projects, by using and doing a lot of mopping up, right? Prompting, building new schools, building new hospitals, building infrastructure. Employment comes in, flow of funds become thicker, economy becomes stronger, the business cycle slowly improves. But look at the situation today. Less costly for buyers to switch brands, yes. Because if you are going to switch your brands, it's going to be very, very difficult for you. Because how strong are those brands? How established are those brands? Because if you are already used, like for example, like many of us, we all are human. We are used to a brand with which we are constantly using the product. And suddenly you want to switch over to another brand, a lot of factors will have to be drawn in, and you will have to start thinking, is it worthwhile? Is it good enough? Is it related? How much is it going to cost? Is it worthwhile buying it? Is it established? So you see a lot of psychological factors start coming into your mind. So this is what we say. When you are looking at the analytical component, make sure you analyze it very well before you are making a decision. Because competition is all over the place. And I also understand, please correct me once again, I also understand that there are a lot many companies who are closing down by 31st of December this year. And by January or February next year, they are all moving out. They won't be here. They are pulling out or some. This sort of news that comes in rather frightens a lot of people. And look at that, investors are in a crossroad situation too. So this is another thing that we have to understand, man, because the unused production capacity, if you are going to, where are you going to use it? When are you going to use it? How are you going to use it? And look at this, fixed cost and storage cost, how are you going to manage it? This is a big problem, my friends. So these are elements which we have to consider and consider very, very carefully. Okay, rivalry of firms. Okay, I don't want to go. I will be doing this again with you, right? So I'm not going to go into this. I want to go into a bit more. I want to, next, I will be doing this. Yes. This is very, very important for you. Why I'm telling this is because strategic analysis of industry dynamics. What is that telling you? Identify the drivers of change. What is causing the change? Today, a lot of factors are changing, right? Just tourism has just started. After a lull of nearly 2 years, so many of our hotels have closed down. So many of our buses that used to take tourists are all closed. Some of our tourist guides have left their jobs, right? They have lost because there's nothing coming in. Look at those sites where tourists used to go very regularly. What's happening? It's only now that you have opened it up for domestic, and at the same time you have got opened it up for foreigners to come in. But look at the quarantine period, look at the time they have to spend, how much of extra money requirements are there. Then again, then you got your vaccination problems. All these elements will have to be considered in the current area when you're doing a strategic analysis of the industry dynamics. Why I am telling you this is your assignment is related to the current pandemic situation. I hope you have gone through those assignments and assessing whether the drivers of change are individually or collectively acting to make the industry more or less attractive. Are they making it attractive? How effective have they been? Some of the industries are losing a lot of money and they're still continuing with a very, very little profit that they want just to keep the nose above water, waiting for good times to come in. Will this continue? Like I got some information that comes in from Sarawak. Like one of my friends was telling, one of my colleagues were telling me that this industry in Sarawak is losing a lot of money, but they have made a little bit of money in the last 4 months. They are keeping that on and they are just continuing. But if they are going to lose any more money in the next 2 months, they are going to close down the organization where close to a few hundred people will lose their jobs. And they are in the oil and gas industry. If oil and gas is getting affected, what about other industries? Right? So what strategy changes are needed to prepare for the impacts of the anticipated change? Today, we have got vaccination. We have got a lot of things which are changing. There are a lot of world elements. Okay? Look at the new culture that has developed out of this. The culture of vaccination, where we have never ever in the history of people or history of mankind ever been vaccinated other than when we were a child for diseases like smallpox and all that, right? Typhoid and all. BCG, anti-TB and all that. But today, as grown-up adults, we also have to get our vaccination for COVID-19. It's not one, it's not two, it is now the booster dose that has come in. How many more booster doses are going to come is a big question mark. What are the anticipated changes that will take place? Look at the health effects, right? Look at the wearing of mask. This is another culture that has been developed. What is it? It is a protective factor. Have you ever heard of using sanitizer? No. But today, it is part of our life. It has become a part of our culture. So look at the changes that are taking place and how businesses are developing these changes or converting it into profitable business areas. Okay, what sort of strategies are they using? So here you see, sell the same price, the same quality, emphasis depend on identical technological approaches, offer similar services and technical. So are they able to continue with the same this thing? Are they able to move into the same realm of realities? This is becoming quite interesting at the moment. Are we going to extend our product range, or are we going to keep it as it is? Right. So let's look at it. And how are we going to do next? Information about our rivals. This is intelligence. And how are we going to move about it? Okay, what are the strategic moves we have to take place? So this, I just want to run through how companies select the key success factors. Look at this. How effectively are the strategy elements, product, service, operational approaches, resources. Remember, my friends, I told you in the beginning that you must understand what your business is. And the key success factors will be very closely related to you understanding your business in the mission area. Why? You look at this very carefully here. Strategic elements, product and service attributes, operational approaches, resources, competitive capabilities that are necessary for competitive success by any and all firms in an industry. Look at this. These are your keys. Vary from industry to industry over time and within the same industry. Remember, I've defined what is industry. Industry means clubbing together all activities of organizations which are common, right? When you say manufacturing, you are clubbed the manufacturing into involves all sorts of products, companies, all the companies that are manufacturing products are clubbed into one industry, clubbed into one, and the industry is called as manufacturing. Look at your carbonated drink industry. All companies like Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola, and all these companies are companies that are clubbed together and known as in the carbonated drink industry. Why? Because they are doing, although their businesses are somewhat the same, but they're clubbed together in the same industry. So they are doing common business, but how they conduct their business will be the organization's organization's identity. How are people identifying themselves with organizations like Coke? How people are organizing themselves with identifying themselves with Pepsi? And of course, there are other minor organizations that are doing in the same industry, sugar related, carbonated. So you call them as the same industry. Look at, like, for example, let me ask you this question. If there's anybody who can answer, can do so. You can answer me by either sending the answers, or you can all talk to me on the using your mic. Now, is Kentucky Fried Chicken and McDonald's doing the same business? Are they in the same business? This is a very common question that strategic management people look at. So I would like to know if these two businesses are the same. Strategic management businesses of Kentucky Fried Chicken, McDonald's, Kenny Rogers, are they the same? Pizza Hut, Domino's, are they all the same business? Of course, business are called Domino's and Pizza Hut will be different. They are in the pizza business. What about Kentucky? What about McDonald's? What about Kenny Rogers? What are they? What sort of a business are they in? So if you got your answers, please do let me have it so that I can anybody got the answer for it? It would be only nice if